turn your back on me.
Is that a challenge?
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
White folks are nosy. They have specials. Nosy specials. Why does a bee make honey? You ain't a bee. Why do you give a fuck?
Legendary multi-platinum rapper T.I. recently spoke to the Breakfast Club about what is arguably considered the biggest blunder of his career.
You know, I meant to ask you, I know you gotta go because you gotta go do the View, but why did you say Iggy was your biggest mistake?
I gotta introduce another female to the game that can undo the blunder of Iggy Azaela.
Australian rapper Iggy Azaela gained recognition after a video for Pussy and 2 times went viral. Unbeknownst to the dominant public, Iggy Azaela was able to mask her Australian accent with a pseudo-Southern Brat twang.
Attention! This is not a release. This is a leak. Jesus Christ and Iggy Azaela are the only people to be held accountable for what's happening tonight.
And for many rap listeners, in search of possible new talent to listen to, they were keenly interested in the Australian rapper. The video for the song entitled Pussy played off of many hood ghetto aesthetics. The video was intentionally filmed in the vein of a cross between White Girls Meets Friday.
Iggy, pussy illy, wetter than the Amazon, taste this kitty, silly billy, poppin' pillies.
The year was 2011 in hip-hop, and the year saw many bizarre up-and-coming acts and promising ones as well, from the strange campaign of V Nasty and her pro-nigga usage stance. To a then fresh cut J. Cole dropping his debut album Cold World, The Sideline Story. From 2009 to 2011, hip-hop also saw the notion of the white rapper being moved past the likes of Eminem, who had dominated as the ultimate study guide for white rappers for little more than a decade at the time. One up-and-coming white rapper, for example, was Asher Roth, who was seen in the same vocal range and at times as to having similar cadences as Eminem. However, where Roth departs from Shady was his lyrical focus more on partying and little to no acts of violence in his rhymes.
Of college, I can't tell you what I learned from school, but I could tell you a story or two.
However, Asher Roth was never really able to catch the steam he was looking for in hip-hop. One part was having to do with the fact that many hip-hop rap listeners were completely in the dark as to who exactly Asher Roth was. A contributing factor to this is the fact that Asher Roth was not necessarily brought to the Chitlin circuit. For instance, T.I. spoke about how he believed that Iggy Azaela may have valued white attention as a greater value than having black space or the digital Chitlin circuit's approval.
But as far as I'm concerned, I feel like when she found out white people liked her and she didn't really need black people to like her anymore, she switched up, started acting different, made moves that I wasn't proud of.
Although Asher Roth never overtly made it clear that the black digital Chitlin circuit was of no value to him, his record label did market him away from the heart of the culture, black people. Counter opposite, Eminem was able to garner recognition under the co-signing of arguably one of the greatest producers in music, who also happened to be black, Dr. Dre. And even though the initial material of Eminem ran counter to that of Dr. Dre's most notable works, Slim Shady's positioning and understanding of the culture gave him more freedom to grow as a rapper who happened to be white. One of the biggest comparisons Eminem ran into after a string of Dr. Dre produced hits was Vanilla Ice. However, the Vanilla Ice comparisons held little merit outside of both rappers happening to be white with blonde hair. The difference between Eminem and Rob Van Winkle was that Eminem had a credible hip-hop background, from being a battle rapper in Detroit to constant praising the likes of Rakim, LL Cool J, Nas, and Daddy Kane. It was clear from early on that Eminem did take hip-hop very seriously. Vanilla Ice, however, did not write his lyrics and was seen as a corporate flip of MC Hammer. In fact, Vanilla Ice was able to garner valuable exposure after being allowed to open up for MC Hammer's fall tour, and when To the Extreme began outselling Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, Vanilla Ice began dissing MC Hammer, claiming that he did in fact smash the hammer.
Vanilla kicks ballistics with dope lyrics. Oh, what a pity though, cause you had to spend $3 million on your video. It was a good video and I can admit that all that money is wasted cause your song's whacked. I make stones to make the people gather. Now let them see us in a pit. I wanna slam dance with your hammer.
Which of course angered many black hip-hop fans. This seems to be somewhat the case with Iggy and T.I. Outside of not selling nowhere near as many units as Vanilla Ice, Iggy Azalea carried much of the same ungrateful attitude as their blonde-headed predecessor, Vanilla Ice. T.I., at the time of backing Iggy Azalea, had successfully cemented himself within the culture, coming off of the heels of successfully beating gun charges and releasing several classics from trap music, urban legend to paper trail. T.I. was seen as an authentic rapper with a pop appeal for the masses. And on the B-side for the hip-hop heads, T.I. was already a proven wordsmith, from the mixtape circuit to the infamous King of the South rap battle with Houston's very own freestyle king, Lil Flip.
Y'all done messed up and let me in this trick. I'm just your average hood cat with dreams of getting rich.
So it was safe to say that T.I.'s artistic credibility and co-signing was not to be taken lightly. At a time where many Atlanta natives and aspiring artists nationwide would have loved to have a T.I. endorsement, Iggy Azalea, Australian-born, was able to snag the elusive co-signing. Iggy Azalea was able to also forgo floundering around underground aimlessly on the internet in the early stages of her career with such a celebrity co-signing like T.I. And T.I. was also named as one of the producers backing Iggy Azalea's 2014 debut album, The New Classic, with singles such as Work, Bounce, Change Your Life, and the international success of Fancy. Iggy Azalea saw success like never before. Her public profile grew, but much in the same light as Vanilla Ice dissing MC Hammer. After the success of To The Extreme, Iggy Azalea began to flex her newfound celebrity, from having the co-signing of T.I. to being the opening act for the likes of Tyga, Rita Ora, Nas, to Beyonce, to having chart-topping singles and even an international hit. Iggy felt like she had arrived. But even before her 2014 debut, Iggy was already off to a bad start, with hip-hop of course, especially with the digital black chitlin circuit. By her 2014 debut, the black audience online had already grown tired of Iggy Azalea's antics. From her charismatically poor attempt to flip Kendrick Lamar's Look Out for Detox lyric,
I feel fucking hot. Tire marks. Finish line with fire marks. When the relay starts to a runaway train. Master, she on the pants, gotta spin it like a pastor. Raptor, basher, deal like go like dash, faster, motorbike faster. He gotta get a bitch, watch for a rapture. White bitch go back to blow like a wind.
Tire marks, finish line with the tire marks. When the relay starts, I'm a runaway slave.
To attempting to distance herself from the comparisons of the tragedy known as Creation and V Nasty by starting what appeared to be a one-sided beef.
So with that being said right there, man, I know a lot of people try to compare you to Krishan. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Well, because once my mixtape came out, it was like, I understand the initial comparison when I only had Pussy and it was like, she has one song, I have one song, oh, she has a mixtape. But do you know what I mean? Like, popular. It's like, I get it, I'm white, I rap, so is she. I get it. But we don't sound the same. Our flow is not the same.
Iggy, more than any other white rapper to ever set foot in hip-hop in recent times, continued to ignorantly march through hip-hop while irritating the public at the highest levels. From awkward moments like when she proclaimed that Jimmy Iovine called her the new Tupac, to questionable moves by what was seen at the time as industry establishment with the likes of XXL, when in 2012 of February, Iggy Azalea was declared as the first woman to be featured on the cover of a XXL magazine for their freshman class, which left many questioning as to why the magazine would be supporting a white woman who had openly compared herself to a runaway slave master. And after the growing backlash had grew, and T.I., along with Iggy, was looking to insert the Australian rapper into a different space of visibility within pop and hip-hop, Iggy Azalea later wrote an open letter apologizing about her runaway slave master lyric, only to have fans later uncover old racist tweets. And as Iggy Azalea continued on with her flagrant transgressions, Iggy Azalea kept in the same spirit of Vanilla Ice and remained tone deaf to the culture, particularly the critiques of well-informed black people. And Iggy Azalea's white defiance continued to crumble away at her already fragile celebrity. Think of it in this way. Instead of not posting pictures of herself alongside the likes of T.I., Drake, and B.O.B., and stating in the caption, "Me and my niggas," Iggy Azalea felt she did not need to respect black people and their culture within the house of hip-hop. Some critics attempted a fair mind approach and stated that one could have blamed it on Iggy Azalea's Australian upbringing. Australia, where indigenous people have been notoriously exterminated and Aboriginal people are aggressively marginalized to this very day.
Using the hair, scientists have mapped the DNA history of Aboriginal Australians and found they're the direct descendants of the first modern humans to leave Africa.
But of course, there's always just common sense. It seems like it was impossible for a part of Iggy Azalea's reptilian brain to comprehend that black people are the powerhouse in hip-hop, and disrespecting them is very damaging to your brand, especially if you are a newbie Australian white woman coming into the house of hip-hop. And as T.I. continued to put his brand on the line, Iggy Azalea was making it abundantly clear that she did not see black people any more than cultural props and fixtures to be used at her disposal. Even some of T.I.'s industry peers took advantage of the opportunity and also voiced their concern and their agitation with the Australian rapper. Snoop Dogg joined in the cultural eviction of Iggy Azalea by releasing a viral meme of the fancy rapper. Iggy Azalea's many beefs within hip-hop was also putting the credibility of T.I. on the line. T.I. was constantly put on guard and having to play peacekeeper by continuously having to bury the hatchet behind the scenes on the behalf of his disruptive protege. And still, despite many critics within hip-hop, T.I. continued to take up for Iggy even after embarrassing moments like her infamous freestyle with Sway in the Morning.
Yo, Wonder, give me a beat, Wonder.
A beat?
Yeah. A beat. Yeah. A beat. Yeah. A beat. Yeah. Man, just give us a hot 16 if you can.
I cannot give you a hot 16 to this hood-ass beat.
What?
Hood-ass beat.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god, stop fucking lying.
And T.I. continued. That was until Iggy Azalea gave a less than ideal response to legendary rap producer Q-Tip, who was attempting to educate the Australian rapper about cultural appropriation within hip-hop music. And even kick-push rap star Lupe Fiasco had a moment where he was simping, and he stated, "Everybody's welcome in hip-hop." And to that, Iggy Azalea simply replied, "Shut up." Believe it or not, despite the controversy surrounding T.I. and his infamous gun charge case, for hip-hop, many were able to look past his legal case, especially given T.I.'s motivation for soliciting such arsenal. But it was, for the public, rap listeners and hip-hop listeners, watching T.I.'s artistic and hip-hop credibility being wiped across Iggy Azalea's filthy mouth as a useless napkin. That, in itself, was extremely peculiar. But T.I., like many black rappers and black hip-hop industry insiders, were looking for their Eminem come up as well. Eminem proved to be Dr. Dre's most lucrative protege, and many other black rappers were looking for their very own Eminem as well. This seems to be the case with T.I. and Iggy Azalea. There are many other bad examples of this as well. Young Jeezy had signed on what appeared to be a white Jamaican by the name of White, who rapped over trap instrumentals as Jeezy himself, but just talked about it from his perspective. But nonetheless, by the optics, he appeared to be very goofy.
They say I paint a vivid picture with my words, like a modern day slipper getting high as a bird.
In fact, White's music was so bad that Jeezy never really speaks about him or even brings it up. T.I. may have initially felt that Iggy Azalea could have been one of hip-hop's biggest stars, but that is much like in the same vein as many black rappers and even producers may have thought when they saw white artists who happen to have a little knack for freestyling here and there or show that they are interested in rapping. A lot of black rappers were looking for their Eminem come up. Eminem turned out to be one of Dr. Dre's biggest payouts, and with many hip-hop insiders attempting to do the same thing as well, many of them have failed miserably. As stated before, Eminem had a credible hip-hop background, along with constantly paying homage to the likes of LL Cool J, Rakim, and Daddy Kane. For the most part, Slim Shady fashioned himself as being a student of hip-hop and also understanding black acceptance, which is why later on in Eminem's career, you saw him branch further further deeper into black space by recruiting the likes of 50 Cent and G-Unit. Unlike Iggy Azaela, who not only was a foreigner, but overall had no concept or grasping the fact that black people are the powerhouse within hip-hop, and the disregard and disrespect of black people within the house of hip-hop is a great way for your career to end as early as it did.
This is Tombstone Piledriver and Randy Orton on this.
Next time on Thought Crimes, the woke economy, how black entertainers are pimping the black audience, not only to get money, but also to have more celebrity shelf life.
Yeah. Dead in the middle of little did we know.
I'm serious about mine. I'm so sincere.
Now at last I have seen a judgment of Solomon.